points at 28 on 16 December 2019. TRRC provides 4 air tickets to victims for overseas treatment, 4 victims of human rights violations during the former President Yahya Jammeh's dictatorial regime who have testified before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission have on Friday been awarded air tickets with 3 escorts for free overseas medical treatment in Turkey. They are expected to leave the country on Monday. So NAMS approved 57 million euros loan deal for renewable energy. National Assembly members on Thursday approved the loan agreement that was signed by the government of the Gambia and the European Investment Bank to finance the Gambia's renewable energy project. The project will be implemented by the National Water and Electricity Company, NAWEC. Quickly through the Foroya newspaper, protests against President Barrow set for today. Lawmakers passed bill for 2020 national budget. 4 Jammeh victims leave Banjul for Turkey today for treatment. That's also reported by the Point. Army Major testifies in Young's murder trial. Groundnut trade commences today. So according to a press release by the Gambian National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation indicate that buying of groundnuts will commence today, Monday, 16th of December, and end on the 15th of December, March 2019. I think they meant to say 2020. The release also puts the farm gate price at $18,000 per ton and $19,500 at the depot, respectively. So Army Major testifies in Young's murder trial. Major Amat Njangom of the Gambia Armed Forces on Friday testified that in June 1995, he and his colleagues took the family of Yankuba Toure of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council to the home of Edward Singate, Gambia's defense minister. At the time, Jangom said he was the guard commander of the troops that provided security to Toure, an ex-minister of local government and lands. Toure is charged with the murder of Usman Koro Sise, an ex-minister of finance under the defunct military junta. So that's it for the papers. Now to some of the stories we have. Thousands of Gambians on Monday took to the streets to demand President Barrow step down from power by January 19, 2020 as part of an agreement that was struck in 2016. President Barrow in 2016 promised political parties that backed him that he would preside over a transition government of 3 years. But the president has changed his mind, saying he will go or will serve for 5 years, a decision that has sparked controversy. The president said whether one likes it or not, he will be in office until 2021. I was at the protest. We now bring you this report.
See whether we can, because we have 6 regions or 7 regions. Okay, great.
Alambaro, ala la plazo bi an bangu dingolu. Wala la plazo. Mba akli bulan la. Alambaro, fonu bangu dingolu no mosi bangu dingolu si ke nyato e ka foya ko. Azolu bangu dingolu adi adali akwa adali. Mbesila le. Fonti manse ko bula bango kanje bang. Ay to nga ko kuma si bala fonya bang. Nso ke no bang. Ndol mena ke sando le bento ndola jongla ma da do ko kan dole bango kan. Ay mbunya ay ngoro ma enjay. Bala ga fa nyako mam na bangu dingolu mosi na jang. Aka fale ko adi adali akwa adali samajima.
Mune ati na kuyate because mo jamal menu be kafuri ngatema ayo for wodi yara wodi
o man de fran man def dula moy ma onde banko sama
imange bokendo
no onde banko sama fran o be mo kan fan lale adu oba faro natla faro adu faro be problème natla so wala mo ndo ramba onde nga bu yara nga oro makabe be set mo bari ata faro banko mo la kwada la de ramay adu mi do fara bi da fara kwada la de
mune ati na to fara bi
mo ci ko soro sa mo banko dina kwada la de ray mo ci ko soro abe kuma do fara be memman god abe bunya kuma do fara memman god bari akwada la de rale billahi do fara bi abe kuma do fara na meme ke naaje meme ke alon ada banko dina ngam akwada la de no man de freng abe do yewo abe wala jele ama me yewo abe wala jele bari ata fara banko dina ba kwada la de wala ndo si jang wala ma wala ndo si wala man de ndilo ma laf go man ndilo adu ma laf ko rek ko banko sama nyaado ay banko mo bunya ramala ma sala na muhammad
baraka baga. So we will walk around. Modu, if you can come with me, let's try to walk around, and you can see the crowd is massive. It is a huge crowd. this is Sting Corner. We're here at Operation 3 Years Jotnas protest.
Yes.
So we will take a walk. Let's take a walk this way, Modu, and see. So I should come. Okay. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good.
Let me speak the Mandinka.
You want to speak Mandinka?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Sumole.
Ebeje todi makolo.
Ndengene jobate.
Okay, ina fana nada mabe protestor.
Nata made jele ndolon siara le achia humanu.
Ito bora nan siara.
Ya bal mesteni ko mo jane bot ndemu chia huma siara le chia humanu ti. Nde dal fo kontano. Finta na kene nyanto di because nimbar president baro 3 years fo. So 3 years so nata wala pla la hido timandi. So wala finti dija ndemu siara le ti kabo jam fo jang. So mbe na to kukinu wala. So mbe min fula president baro na la hido min fo wala hido a timandi mole. Nyaje bi mobe fitita 3 years na wala fo. So lafta wala pla la hido timandi mole.
But modo le mem fo wala matol mo kensa ngol le you are useless people many ala lafta banko fitno na la banko ga. Wo ko soro da faman soro.
O ko man soto ni da fo ngalo salon ko de manke mo kensa won. Biye kuja Gambia jang. Ifa an ko nyanya moje. Mol be la kuma fo la garon e mala be min fala because mobe an ko 3 years jon nan ko nder manke fitna moti manke mo kensenti. La hiro min ni president baro yake o la hiro nata wala pla timandi. So mobe an ko nder manke fitna moti du manke mo nonsense moti.
Ale jiko soro ko la hido nyanga ba timandi la.
Abe timala na jiko soto le. Adu abe timala du na man se fo mo le fo jani on the 20 so nder frambe finza ko taki. Na manji de sayla.
Adina sela.
De sayla.
Ala baraka ba.
Abaraka ba.
Thank you very much. So more people have been speaking there. So more people have been speaking. So let's see what is happening here. I see some youth in front. Looks like those ones are also they have their. But Modu, let us try and go and show the banners. So those are the youth there. So their leaders are here. Some jetted into the country from Europe and America. The likes of Sirif Sise are all here. So we will try to find them and then try to talk to them. So you can see from the banners there, this is NBR, North Bank region. This is the North Bank region banner. You have the CRR banner there on the other side. So let's go, and then I think I have seen Chairman Guy. I will ambush him there. Chairman is here. Chairman, good morning. Inimbara. Chairman, ila kafo fele. Apela dimbi alla protest onara finally. First of all, ibe how do you feel?
Dama sante yalla bu baax nga ala tentu baake nga ala jayi kato ne kumandiro ke moli dankoyla a manke ko itele katita tumando e ka mol kumandi minna wala katita bawo yemil kumandi itante wolti itante ye mol kumandi minna ini mol bele den tawol oto ni mol ye kumandi amanke itele katita yiga kumandiro ko minna wala katita mbe Gambia dingol tentu lambe jayla mu nge tentu minna yela hajo lonne yela nafa lonne sai yela hajo lonne sai Gambia dingol kunintale bi na Gambia dingol ye fayitandi Gambia la ye fayitandi dunyal
chairman afalende sab albina procession no dat la kata ka denden bridge walende par sa la fam menna do alla petition no nyen ali mun condition jellelandi ani mun condition sifalle se do man nim fono mo le odo
ani nga dajon kila ninkino mam dam kino mam mo buga dom
ha bari molbe kuma jamala fogan ko alla petition alla condition do menti wolam ko president o jiba on 19 namanji albe finda le kotake silokan wala be jeba
ah ya long ni so mum bin famo so ma de ni so mi fa pour ka fa ko liyo imanya no bunno suma na man na fa so jani wula ro mo be balon mu jimune be petition
bara alta fono lanto le sai because jiberal be jibero la de
hani abe adol folo balon ko ma dila lal ma dila lal
okay chairman abaraka so that's Abdunjai, he is their chairman. He has been their chairman since last year, and then there was a lot of, despite all the odds, they were able to get a permit to stage this protest today. So they are moving to the other side of the road. They would use the right hand side, where the road in the right hand side of leading to Banjul. That's the road that they are going to use, and then they would be marching all the way to Denton Bridge.
The Gambia we love.
The march continues. So this man right here, this gentleman right here, is Sirif Sise, one of the prominent members of Operation 3 Years Jonna. He lives in Europe, but he's here to be part of this protest. Mr. Sise, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
First of all, how are you feeling today?
Well, very, very happy, grateful to Gambians, and well, I cannot just express myself. I'm very, very happy.
So this has been a long push and pull for months and weeks. You've been pushing and pulling with the government to ensure that your right to freedom of assembly is respected. A lot of people things were said, but at the end of the day, you were able to get your permit. What do you have? What would be your assessment in respect of this?
Well, my assessment, on respect of this is that Gambians, they come out in their large numbers. This shows that Gambians, they voted President Barrow into that office for 3 years. And what President Barrow is doing, he is gallivanting everywhere, telling people that we the Gambians, we have extended his mandate from 3 to 5 years. So now this is now where we are now. The entire world will know that the Gambians, they voted President Barrow for 3 years, not 5 years. And we. Wait. We in this petition we have a very simple message for the president.
And what is that?
The message is that he has to respect the 3 years because we voted for him for 3 years. Without that we are coming back on the 28th of January. In that we will never go back home until he resign. But from now to the 18th of January, there is a room for dialogue.
So you are giving him what someone would call borrowed time.
Yeah, one month. This is our Gambia. We don't want any fitna in Gambia. So all what we want, the president to respect the MOU. That's why.
But President Barrow has made up his mind already. He is saying that his party would be registered by the end of this month. And by early next year he would go ahead and launch his party.
No. That one, that's his own thinking. He is there because of Gambians. Gambians has to decide that, not President Barrow. Not him. Yeah, Gambian has to decide.
But a lot of Gambians too also want him to continue until 2021.
Let them come out and show that. Let them come out. It's their citizenry right. Let them come out and show that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
So this is the situation. It's a little as you can see, pushing me now. is the operation 3 years job now. There are protests here on the Banjul highway. There has been a procession. This procession started right behind at Sting Corner. That is where the procession started at about 11 a.m. this morning. So the procession continues. We will be going right up to Dundon Bridge. That is where the procession would end. And then speeches would be delivered. Speeches from their leaders of this pressure group. What they want, according to Mr. Sise, is that they want President Adama Barrow to respect or to honor his vow of being in office, serving for only 3 years. President Barrow has changed his mind, and this has sparked a lot of debate. There are some people who say the president should stay until 2021, while you have others who say he should step down by the 19th January. So this is it. The Dundon Bridge is just within airshot, so the protest continues. Thousands of people are here to take part in this protest. Massive crowd there. Young, old. I see elderly people. I mean, youths. They are all here.
Have to stay there for 3 years. That's our agreement. 3 years is our agreement. We vote for 3 years, and Adama must step down. 3 years. That's our agreement. We don't need Adama to do this country anymore. We can see that Adama he don't fulfill our mandate. We have to step down for 3 years. For 3 years. For 3 years. The youth of this country. We don't need Adama to do this country anymore because he have the capability to do this country. He have to step down as soon as possible. We don't need Adama in this country anymore.
You don't need him. Why don't you need him? You think you are saying he's not capable?
He cannot capable to do this country because he don't know. He cannot if he need the good statement.
This is what we say.
3 years, Adama Barrow, 3 years. 3 years, but now I want to go
sanji saba nayol fo ay ji ay mo la banko dina na banko dokundino ata banko dokundino la
People, women too, they are all here.
Any bara
Ifana todima.
ndetoma ay solete
Ifana nata mabe protest.
nata ba
So ite muna soroka.
ndawe mi fo president pour ay la ido timande do
Mo IG.
IG ha
Muna atina ite lafta IG.
yalon foro ya mu kangolet ni kango mi fo mole isa woti mande na woti mande nsina jibe mbakala ni
Ate men fo kabe dogu kendola. Ay dogu wol fo dati men yale mambang wala atina lafta ndo ngalyaso.
ma do ko IG
Atol maji.
ani maji
Jadi?
IG
Okay, so it's a little chaotic now. I'm being pushed by some of the operation 3 years job people there. 3 years job beautiful women there. Al nimbara.
Ni nimbara ki.
Yo todima. Aisa baby. Okay, bial fana mabe da protesoro. Adole protesoro bial e bije nyaade.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Fo kontano ni se o be mbendana. Parce que nyimu na nyantolti. Adam boro bila banko ya wife la mol blokon na sabu sanyi sabo. Na mfintita sata oto na wife banko dingol ma sanyi sabo. Haje sanyi sabo sita. Nko adam boro na sanyi sita. Akafo nte ko mama man kende ya. Mfama nyanta tal wala jibe. Mo kuota. Ndata sola. Ndako mala fa adam boro fa kan samba kula ba. Ndako nakate fa plan samba ku. Banaje adam boro bukanta samba ku. Apaka banko dingol fana samba ku. Ananya ta banko dingol samba la ku. Mon fin matata yede. Na suta ya no adam baro. Sai bide na ta mina ko na ta leta dan nawal. Na ta leta dan nawal la na letaro mfendi mfutata jal sai mbe mola batula mi yanon ko habina letaro tala mol bulo kono. Na sai kayre nin kayra. Ndo na to.
Adol bol.
Yento je ni en pare je salan kontro man na fitina bondila man na ta kayro dam mal.
Don kamabe. Eta be parti jumal. Eta be parti jumal.
Nda eta be parti. Hani da pembe parti dam dan to.
Eta fo no la.
Hani no.
UDP gas capital diaspora keba sungum baro
adola pati nyaro gol kal dari jede kanaja
no ndabe je because anu gambe dingul le na je pour na banku di yalla man na pati lay na gambe dingul ya na rawol la je okay UDP gas capital diaspora ndolle adam baro sindi jang ndolle ya fon ka si jang gas capital na ya moy Germany Austria Switzerland Holland ndolle mo amide executive member fona di fondia ndol mo keba sungum baro Austria Vienna
thank you very much Austria Vienna so yes we are almost at Dundon Bridge so you can see the crowd I mean is massive so we will go to try to make it to the front and see some Bob Marley music there there too. You can see the youth. Yeah, they're all dancing to the Bob Marley tune there. Here at Dungeon Bridge.
Coming from let them stay there. Let them stay because they are bringing the confusion.
No, they are going back to them enjoying the people now. Simple.
Okay, then let nobody come here.
Honorable, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Honorable, so you are an advisor to the president.
Yes.
We just want you to sound your opinion, your view of today.
Like what?
What do you make of this protest?
Well,
thousands of Gambians taking to the streets asking for the president to stop.
No, there are no thousands of people there. And the problem and the whole...
Did you get
No, just hold it. I don't come here to argue. And I don't even want to say anything. All what I am just saying is let's respect one another for the betterness of this country. Let us not burn our country to ashes. This is what we have. President Barrow have given permit for demonstration. So let us just be calm, do what they have to do, and then we disperse. And not this kind of stress starting to fight.
Are you sent here by President Barrow?
I am what?
Are you sent here by President Barrow?
No, not at all.
So you are just here to observe?
I was just going to work. I'm from meeting, and then I am just seeing the crowd. But I haven't even spoke to President Barrow.
Honorable President Barrow made a promise to the Gambian people. He wants to be in office.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I stand the other side. Those who are not journalists, let them stay on this side. Man, brother, not good idea. Easily, man. Let's organize.
I can find
Now you people are cross. You allow these people to cross.
One person very far from here.
Mr. Chairman.
So now, wait, open land these people can come from here.
Give him way.
So the government spokesperson Ibrahim Sankare came in an attempt to receive the petition, but he could not get closer to where the leadership of this group is. So he is going back now. You can see, and people are following him. People are coming after him. Members of this group are coming after him. So it's a little chaotic here.
Yes, Sankara is too junior.
So these people are saying Ibrahim Sankara is too junior. He cannot receive this letter.
Control them.
are saying he is not the person to receive this letter, that he is too small an official. They are saying he's a junior government official, so they don't want him here. So you can see the people are marching now. They have now reached the bridge. They have now reached the bridge. This is Denton Bridge. You can see now this crowd was supposed to stop 200 meters from the bridge, but you can see now the crowd has come and they have come all the way to the bridge now. See the situation here still chaotic. The petition has not yet been delivered to the government representative. Ibrahim Sankara was the person who came to receive this petition on behalf of the government. He got there, but the environment was not all that conducive, so he had to leave. He had to abandon his plan to receive the letter from them. And what we have been told, that he has gone back to state house. He's saying that he cannot receive the petition because it is hostile. It is a hostile environment. So you can see the protesters have come from 2 meters away, 200 meters away. They have now come all the way to Denton Bridge here. Riot police have been now there. The police are trying to push them back, and then you have riot police right behind us. That is why they are right in front of us, trying to push the crowd back, to push the crowd back. So that is what they are saying. I can hear some of them saying we are coming back in January. What some of these protesters, they have a problem with Ibrahim Sankara. They think he is too junior. They don't want him to receive this petition. They want a more senior government official. Some are also saying it is the president himself who should come here, because he is the person that they voted for. So I mean, the atmosphere here is charged. Massive crowd. A lot of people. You can see police trying to push the crowd back. So people have been given up to 2 p.m. For them to disperse, and then it is only 30 minutes from 2 p.m. So let's see what is going to happen, because the petition is yet to be delivered. This is the situation now. 6 hours of, they started the procession right here at Sting Corner all the way to Denton Bridge. There also a little bit of confusion there as to who really the petition should be handed over to. It was the government spokesperson Ibrahim Sankara who came to receive this petition on behalf of the government, but when he got there, there was some confusion. There were some people who said this man is too junior. So, but I even heard some people saying this man is a nobody. Who is he? But why is the president himself not here? He is the one who we voted for. But finally, and then it was a little chaotic. He had to leave the crowd. But then at some point, the Operation 3 Years Jotna officials picked some top officials who, likes of MCC, who went and delivered the petition to Ibrahim Sankara in a vehicle which stood on the bridge, which was parked on the bridge. So this is the situation. They are all going home now. But what they are also saying is that they are giving President Barrow an ultimatum. They are giving him up till January 19th to vacate State House. They are saying if he doesn't leave office, they are going to take to the streets again to demand he leaves office. So thank you very much. That's the coverage from us here at Sting Corner. My name is Lamin Kai. Until next time, goodbye.
Operation 3 Years Jotna's protest earlier today there. So I have in the studios Madi Jobate. Madi, as you all know, he's a commentator, a civil society activist, someone who is passionate when it comes to the rights of the Gambian people there. Mr. Jobate, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, good to be here.
So I just wonder, first of all, your assessment of today's protest.
I'm trying to figure out how to start this. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good the protest took place. The fact that it is people's right to freedom of assembly, and they exercise that right. And their determination to ensure they obtain their right, and that is the good part of it, and which is what I have always also argued, that ultimately it is the people who would deliver democracy. Because what this process today signified, it has exposed two things and dismantled two narratives. The narrative that it's violence. I remember a few weeks ago, the press secretary, Ami Bojang, convened a so-called national dialogue on national television with security chiefs.
Yes.
When the Army General, Cham was talking about shooting down protesters.
Protesters, exactly.
Yeah,
drafted in the army.
Yes, and then the director of NIA talking about there will be people, drug dealers and drug addicts or things like that. I mean, and since then, I just saw you interview Henry Gomez and talking about burning down the country. So what this means is the Gambia government is not willing to make Gambians enjoy their democratic constitutional rights, so that they portray any citizen who wishes to exercise his fundamental rights as a criminal, as a, as someone who wants to burn down this country. So this protest today has refuted that claim. And I have made this point. Never in this country has Gambians assembled just to destroy. And anytime there is destruction, loss of life, it is created by the state. And so this protest has dismantled that narrative that people are criminals and citizens are criminals, and it has also exposed that if there is any institution passing in this country which is obstructing democracy and good governance and the exercise of human rights, is the Gambia government itself. It's the biggest threat. The Gambia government, as it is the biggest threat to the democracy, to the good governance, and to the enjoyment of human rights in this country. And that is a very big concern to me, because the Constitution puts the primary obligation on the state to protect human rights. In section 17 of our Constitution clearly states that all the fundamental rights and freedoms specified in the Constitution shall be protected and upheld by the executive, by the legislature, and enforced by the courts. So the state has primary obligation to protect human rights. And in this state, the executive has that primary duty. And it is so concerning that no one other than the executive itself, which has continuously demonstrated their unwillingness, their refusal to allow governments to exercise their rights, such that you look at this protest, is itself a suppression of rights, because these are citizens who wanted to march from point A to point B, that is to go up to Banjul.
Yes.
Why would you stop them in the bush, to confine them to the bush?
Somewhere where you don't even have internet.
Right. So the idea of hiding behind security, yes, other people have rights. Yes. The issue here is not you to surrender your rights for me. That's not the intention of our Constitution. That is not the concept of human rights. You should enjoy your rights at the same time I enjoy my rights, and they don't have to clash. In anywhere in the world, citizens, Banjul is the seat of government, is the capital of the Gambia. If there is any Gambian needs to express his disagreement or his agreement with any issue regarding the state, Banjul is the right place to do so, and right in front of the State House. That is what is democracy. So the idea that there is security, which is now a lie, it means the army, the security institutions were lying to say that these Gambians, there are criminals.
These are a bunch of criminals.
That's a lie, and I would demand, yes, and I would demand that our security chiefs to resign. That is it, because they are threatening citizens, they are lying to Gambians, and they are lying to the head of state.
What do you make of that? Why would they go to that length of lying to the Gambian people, throwing fear sort of in the minds of Gambians?
I think they are criminals. I think the only reason I can give, they are just criminals. Yes, because if they understood that their authority, their position is derived from the people, and their position, their authority should be used in our name for our welfare, why would they come now to scare us? That indicates that the director of NIA, the Army General, the Inspector General of Police, and all those securities, they are threatening us. And nobody deserves to hold public office that is threatening citizens. So, for them to stand on public television and lie to Gambians and threaten Gambians, I think they need to resign or they should be sacked. That is my demand.
But don't you think that this works for the powers that be? This
Yes,
works for
yes.
the political leaders.
It clearly shows.
It clearly works for them, because there was a lot of people, Gambians out there, who agreed with this narrative, this false narrative of government, to say that these are a bunch of hooligans who are out to set the country on fire. And so a lot of people that were attacking these people, that they should not go out but to simply exercise their right.
So Lamin, you can see what cost their lie made on our economy, on our society today.
Of course, great
impact. A lot of people didn't go to work. A lot of people did not open their shops. A lot of school children did not go to school. Yes. That is irreparable loss for which somebody should pay for it. I wish I had the power.
Should really pay for this?
The President Barrow should pay for this, and each and every head of that security agency, they should pay for generating a lie in order to threaten to scare Gambians and to deny Gambians opportunities. Many people lost opportunities, a means to survive, a means to put bread and butter for the family to have lunch. To have food. A lot of people miss that today because of the lie from the Gambia government perpetrated by security chiefs and entertained, condoned by President Barrow. So they need to be held to account for lying to Gambians as it is. So I'm so furious, really, that this is the kind of government that we have. And I think by now Gambians should all know we have a government that lies to us. And we have a president and security chief that lie to us, and that has to be addressed.
There are some people who would also say, those close to President Barrow, those who are in positions, thanks to, by the grace of President Barrow, they are in positions that they are in. These are the people who manufactured this narrative of branding these people or painting them criminals. Yeah. They are the ones, and some people are saying, without President Barrow, these people do not stand any chance of, coming close to State House, if you like.
Absolutely. And that has to be stated as clear as possible. But at the same time, and saying that does not exonerate Mr. Barrow himself, that you as the head of state, more than all of those people, you bear primary responsibility. And Barrow has more than enough resources to know the truth. He has an obligation to defend the rights of Gambians. That's what he swore to on 19 January 2017, that he will defend the constitution of the Gambia. And it is in that constitution that our rights are well specified. So for him to now surround himself with stooges, with sycophants, who he knows are lying to him, and he buys that lie.
Whose only chance of making it is having him in office.
Yeah, right. So for that matter, I think Gambians should hold the president and his entire team to account for such a lie to Gambians.
Clearly a false narrative there, because what Gambians have seen there, these are people who were largely peaceful. By 2 p.m., these people started asking their members to disperse. So that was how this entire protest panned out. But then also, let us talk about the real issue here. These people are simply out because of one thing. They are saying, President promised Gambians to serve for only 3 years, and now here is he made this astonishing U-turn, wants to be in office until 2021, and they are angered by this. What do you make of the president's about face?
Well, I have stated from the very beginning, which is still my position, that Barrow and the coalition government, the members, must respect their agreement and step down. All right, they had a manifesto, they have an MOU in the manifesto, a very good document that has set out very good tangible deliverables that they need to implement, so that by the end of 3 years, we are talking about, a new constitution and going into the Third Republic. So the Barrow has reneged on that, and I have consistently called that he should respect it, and as far as I'm concerned, if he refuses to respect it, he is not going to get my respect anymore. So by the January 20, if Barrow continues to be president, January 19, 2020, refuses to step down, continues to be president, I don't consider him a legitimate president anymore. Because, you see, election is based on promise, all right? That is why people put up themselves as candidates. You give me my word, all right? and on the basis of that, I exercise my opinion to go and vote for you. And so to obtain my mandate through your promise and my opinion that your promise you will fulfill it, to come over all over again and dismantle that promise, I think it is the height of chicanery, of treachery, and I'm not going to trust a person who does not guard his word. So these 3 years Jotna movement, I have defended their rights since they emerged. I remember the members were arrested some time ago around Senegambia. I mean, as Gambian civil society, we called them to know why they were arrested, just to defend their right to protest. And I still defend their right to protest. So it is a group of Gambian citizens, and what they are doing, they are saying it is absolutely their right. And in terms of the 3 years for the president to respect that, I mean, I share that agenda or that objective with them. Whatever objectives they may have, I don't know. But then I stand since at the very beginning that indeed Mr. Barrow and the coalition, they must respect the 3 years, I mean, that they have agreed to serve and to transform this country, within that period, which they have failed to do.
But he's basing or pinning his about face or U-turn on the Constitution, saying it was in fact that it would be illegal for him to serve for 3 years when the Constitution says 5 years.
Oh yeah, but which is not true. The Constitution has provided for him to resign. Yes, the Constitution, and he could resign anytime before the end of 5 years. 5 years is just the maximum term. Doesn't mean you can step down. I mean, what if he dies today?
So
is he going to be?
It's not by force.
Yeah, so that is not an argument. This is not a constitutional issue, really, because it doesn't violate the Constitution in any way. This is about political legitimacy, and so this is the issue. So it doesn't violate the Constitution in any way. What he should have done, according to his manifesto, is what he should have done. But he has failed to embark on the necessary constitutional, legal, and institutional reforms. Yes. So that today, when we look at it for the past 3 years, Barrow suggested constitutional reforms only once, to change the age of the president, because that suits him.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to legal reforms, again, the only legal reforms we saw, actually was, around the Election Act. So the other members of the coalition, only the minority leader Samba Jallow suggested put a bill before Parliament for changing the tenure, the security of tenure of members of Parliament, so that if they are sacked by their parties, they will not lose their seats. So clearly, you can see these people have an agenda to just give a promise they would not keep in order to subvert, the will of the people and just sit there like that. And I don't think we should accept any individual to obtain our mandate through fraud. So
you mentioned these two words, treachery and fraud, and these are two words that Operation 3 Years Jotna used in their petition, a very long petition. But what they are saying, they are insisting that the president's plan, 5 years plan, would amount to treachery and fraud.
Yeah, I've not read the statement yet. I saw it in the WhatsApp groups and I think something on Facebook as well. Even though I forwarded it, but I haven't taken time to read it, But clearly that is it. You see, when elections are coming, yes, of course, candidates will make promises. Yes. We'll build schools, we'll build roads, we'll do these things. And Barrow said a lot of those things. Yes. Even when, as president right now, he talked about bridging the Banjul-Bara, space. Yeah. He talked about electricity, Wi-Fi in Brikama. I may not, these are significant if you don't fulfill them, but I may not, really demand an elected leader to step down because of those kinds of social goods and services that you claim you will provide when you win. Yeah. I take the 3 years issue as a separate matter, because that, for me, deals with the very heart of our governance, of our sovereignty, all right, of the transformation of the Gambia, of system change, for which for me is primary at a totally different level. So you can make all these other promises, and I may not vote for you. I may wait for you at the next election, to not vote for you. But what I cannot take is that, you promise that, especially from where we came from, to remove that dictatorship, that within that period we will do this thing so that we transform our polity to create a new republic. And then you fail to do that and rather continue on the same path as the dictator. So which means for me, we face a very threatening future because the way and manner Barrow is pursuing things, it means we are just sliding out of dictatorship and moving into another dictatorship. And you know, the break between dictatorship and democracy, that break is what he has messed up. And that is this 3 years thing. So these 3 years is very, very significant for us to make a very fundamental change. And so nobody should joke with that period because I advise all governments to go to the manifesto of Barrow and look at, you know, the bullet point by bullet point, the suggestions that, you know, when these things are implemented, these deliverables, these actions are taken, we are going to see a new Gambia by 2020. Now, for that to fail, and to fail for no reason other than the fact that Barrow just decided to wear the shoes of Yahya Jammeh, to move on the same path of Yahya Jammeh, to use the book of Yahya Jammeh, that is very concerning to me.
So now, aside the allegation that these are a bunch of criminals out to set the country on fire, the other allegation has been this issue of UDP being behind these protesters, these 3 years Jotna people. As an independent analyst, what have you seen in the past, say, weeks and months in respect of this group?
Well, I see the 3 years cutting across political parties. And certainly, I've seen UDP folks or people I hold assumed to be UDP members and probably even prominent UDP members. And of course, I disagree with UDP. I mean, I have fought with a lot of UDP supporters at the very beginning when I was insisting that Barrow should stay for, just 3 years and leave. And when their position was no, Barrow was going to go for 5 years. So if anything, I think UDP has caught up with reality, you know, because when the fallout happened, it dawned on them that actually their position was wrong. And but I have seen other party members, you know, also from other parties, individuals supporting this. And having said that, that still does not negate their right anyway, or the right of anyone to adopt a new position. Yes. So even if UDP or any other party had supported Barrow for 5 years, and you know, at one point those members want to stand for this, it is up to their right to do so. I mean, and it's up to you and me as citizens to interpret them anyhow we wish to do so. The fact is, there is a tangible base on which we all stand, and that is that there is an MOU, there is a manifesto. There was a candidate called Barrow who went on a campaign on a set of promises, and key among this really is the 3 years agreement. And so people to fluctuate, to vacillate between 3 and 5 years at one point could be for any reason. Yes, could be for selfish reasons, could be out of ignorance, could be out of dishonesty. And that's left to individuals to get busy about. Really but as far as I'm concerned, yes. You know, I stand for the 3 years, that they need to respect the 3 years, Barrow particularly, and failure to do so, I don't think he would have my respect, my regard as a human being and as a president of this republic.
So Mahdi, finally, how does this protest affect President Barrow's popularity domestically and internationally? International media was also present at this protest. And then the narrative is that thousands of Gambians, you know, took to the streets to demand that he resigns. They don't want him anymore.
Well, the fact is, a large group came out today, but they still do not constitute the majority of Gambians. Yeah. But also engaging in this society, especially in the civil society, I know there's a huge disappointment in Barrow. There's a huge disillusionment. Most of the civil society in the Gambia would like to see Barrow respect 3 years you know, and also in our engagements with the international community, we see that, you know, frustration in them, not just in terms of this agreement, but the failure of the government to do a lot of things like security sector reform, like, you know, civil service reform, like combating corruption, like not being transparent or accountable. And so there's a huge amount of disillusionment and disappointment
So
in
do
him.
you think President Barrow is aware of this at all?
Yeah, he has the opportunity to be aware, all right, because he's a human being, he's an adult. He could look at other independent sources and would realize a lot of these things are also in the public space. They are not in it, you know, so he doesn't have to listen to any intelligence officer really, or any policy, you know, officer to understand these things. So he has opportunity.
The reason I ask you this, Jammeh was here and his people, political propagandists were going to him, telling him that you are popular. Yeah. When President Jammeh was not popular.
No,
and
Jammeh himself knew. Just the point is, which is also significant, those people around him, to create the idea that you have enough power, that, you know, ultimately you can quell any resistance, and you can buy anyone because state wealth is right in front of you. At your disposal. The armed forces, the police, the intelligence are under your command. You know, Barrow said he has the army, the police, the NIA, and even economic. So it is not strange for leaders to get into dreamland, you know. And, you know, and I think right now, Barrow is in a serious dreamland. And he is failing to read history in his whole lifetime. Wake up to the reality. In his whole lifetime. Yes. And it happens. I mean, Barrow is not the first. Jammeh is not the first. I mean, around Africa, in Asia, in Europe, you know, in South America, we've seen leaders just entertain themselves with false narratives. And then, of course, you have all of these you know, sycophants, like look at Henry Gomez, the kind of statements he's making, to entertain themselves with false narratives, all right, until, you know, they drop in the ditch to realize that, well, this is really, I'm really in false world. Yeah, so if any advice, you know, already Barrow has almost lost a huge opportunity, because if Barrow really had stuck to his manifesto and implemented diligently, and ensured that that coalition, he maintained that community in trust and confidence. Lamin, I'm telling you, and then, you know, move to make sure by 3 years he steps down, and if he succeeds that, Barrow was going to raise his profile, his image in the world, probably only next to Nelson Mandela. You know, he doesn't want that. He would have won. President. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want that. He wants to serve for. But that is why, if you do that also, you don't sleep. You don't have peace. Yeah, Jammeh with all of those things, those who are close to him, they tell the man doesn't even sleep. Even with your army and NIA and police, you will sit down there drinking attire until 4 a.m. You know, you move and you arm yourself to the teeth as if, you know, there's a whole army of the world coming after you. So, as a human being, if you are mature, if you are responsible, if you love yourself, if you love your people, even if you don't love your people, but if you love yourself, I mean, you should know you can fool people. No, it's just a matter of time. Yeah, you can oppress people, because the more you oppress people, you oppress yourself also, because it means, I mean, you will be scared to go to a lot of places as well. Yes. So you'll be hiding yourself. Look, Jammeh came eventually, this State House, I remember as a schoolboy in Banjul, we go, there's a Geta Tubab in the middle of State House, you know, a chestnut tree. We sit there, Jawara's office, we sit there picking those Geta Tubab. But, you know, when Jammeh came, look at the State House, it's a fortress. People used to pass from Quadrangle, cross over, come to the market through the, you know, front of State House. Yeah, you stop all of that. So you close yourself. I mean, what kind of life is that? You know? And does Barrow have the courage right now to dismantle those walls? It appears he cannot now. Because, you know, the approach he is taking, he doesn't want to make life easy for himself. And it is to tell him and his generals that, look, in this country, over our dead body, no more dictatorship will emerge here. Governments will protest. Yes, that is our right, and no police, no army will stop that.
No general will.
No general will stop that. People will protest. Yes. So this message I'm sending it to Mr. Barrow himself to know that in this Gambia right now, people will protest. He cannot stop that. The Inspector General of Police cannot stop that. The CDS cannot stop that. The Director General of NIA cannot stop that. This country belongs to the people, not to people like him or the IG. They are just our Mbindan. As I always say, the president is nothing other than our Mbindan, you know, our servant. So let that get into his head and the heads of his generals.
Mr. Jobate, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Madi Jobate. We were talking about today's protest, Operation 3 Years Jotnas protest there. So the news review continues. So on Monday, the protest, of course, could not have ended without some people complaining. Cars and commuters found it really hard. They spent time, more time on the road before they could get to either Banjul or Serekunda. So let's listen to what some of the drivers and even students have been saying.
Traffic. Wow, I'm meeting, bro. Wow,
So how is the traffic today?
So hectic.
So hectic.
Yes.
Naka ngeen def ak traffic bi.
Jama rek.
So naka traffic tey.
Tired na trop tey. Dafa tired.
Yeah, you are walking. I see you walking.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, the car I was in just stopped a mile away from here. So there was no place to move out.
Yes.
Yeah, so he said that there's no way out or else they will destroy his car. So he parked it over there and said us just to walk or, you know, look what to do.
So now you are walking?
Yeah, I'm walking with my friends to home.
To home?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You see, I banko ay more discomfortly completely.
Sa afalan dita betama kesingo.
Nte felen betama kansigo lembeta afola ati kunda jaman. Nte siyo be sangi ta woro ani woro wula. Ninte tamata jam fam futa jam mune be kelantela alale wolong.
Baraka baka. Baraka. Lama sonya.
Amina.
So I see more people. Many along go betama kesingo.
Jégalu xana am ci jaxla rek. Wax deug yalla am ci jaxla rek ndax ñun tay ji liñu joge Sénégal ñewon fi liñuy liggéey nak. Waye biñ ñëwé ba fi daal légui sank ni rek lañ gis affaire yi. Auto lañ jëlone sax fay ko war mënu ñu ba Serekunda mais biñ diké lañ gis problème yi fi ñu ko fa ñu leen tourner leen. Waye lepp daal lañu mëna mom ñaan jàmm mucc daal mo gën.
Légui fum na ni da nga na dox.
Waaw dañoo dox ba Serekunda kay ba Tànj sax.
Ba Tànj.
Waaw door waar rek. Waaw li yam daal mooy nañ ñaan yàlla jàmm njëkk ci mujj ji. Waaw bi ko doo xam ñu ci bokk ak ñu ci bokku fi mu nekk nii. Waaw dafa metti.
du nangu moto yi génn. xam nga loo coono la. am benn njëriñ. ñu bàyyi moto yi génne bi ko dañoo toroxal nit yi.
waaw.
ñu dimbal ñu ne fu mu toll nii Gambia du mën a defaraat yi. bi ko commencé na jaxa.
waaw.
xooli nekkul benn. xooli nekkul benn fu mu toll nii nguur moo war a jóg mu wax.
waaw.
nguur nangu wax président dafa war a jóg mu wax. moo doomi réew mi moo doomi réew ñoo ko teg fii ñoo ko jokkate. moo waru toog benn place mu tamba loo xam nii. ñu ci problème bi nii. problème bi moom moo ko koos amul kenn de moo ko koos.
moom président Barrow.
président Barrow moo ko koos su toogee moom doomu adama ñoo dëkk si réew mi mu àndal ñu mu ne ñu may la ñu def ko ni waaye nangul lool ku nekk mu nga topp xolam xam nga ñan ñoo ko réeral waa EPS ñu nekk si booram ñoo ko réeral bu ko Adama Barrow su fekkee moo gën a du ko def dafa génn waaye ñu nekk si booram advice ñoo ko de dugal lu lorale yaay dem loolu la mu ko loral Adama Barrow war na gis loolu de mu bàyyi xelam de ñu nekk si boor yaay dem ñoo ñëw si booram mu bàyyi xelam
kene nga moy ka moto le jini so me loro njande men be tama kanna todima Mustafa
Barrow.
So ita fele ibora na Banjul be tama ke singola afomo lete bi protest nya ite batande nyaade
Yeah, I go batande because mu dokulanti work small be bulu paradise me passport process on so nata wala jo nata wala for feel Banjul kabri so monda juno bare bi mi la moto ko na over kolia e ko moto buka cross no so moto min ta fa ngojo 50 years la jindi saro jang so mi tamala pour ka cross crowd ni na pour ka moto ni je yeah ako nyi ko leta ba kale like you know nde dama dal 2 years 2 in 3 years is all the same ya patient so ya mo bi nga ya boto for 2 years so another 2 years see then 2021 mo leta election la mo mi diate e vote you know wala fi sara ka mo la do ko be tinyata you know
baraka driver yow na traffic bi naka nga ko gisee.
non ñu ngi wés suñu dara waaye daal nañ ko yëpp nañ ko def si jàmm ak salaam daal nañ joxe respect.
naka ngeen def ak traffic.
So, very well, that's it for today's news review. Thank you very much for being there. We will be back tomorrow. Until then, my name is Lamin Jain.